Hello everyone. So for today's video, you might already seen by the title, and today we're talking about dividend investing. So I have a little sheet here, just some notes to go over. But dividend investing is something I actually personally do and have been doing it for, I'm gonna say three plus years now, and I have started doing it within a Roth IRA. That way, when I'm 59 and a half and older, the money is tax-free. You don't pay taxes on a Roth IRA when you withdraw. So I want to go over some stats for you guys, and you know, it is possible. Now, it's going to be very hard, especially the older you get, the harder it's going to be, but it is possible to live off dividends alone. And for those who don't know stocks, don't know what dividends are for example, you buy stock in a company, and if that company pays dividends, basically what they do is that company will take their profits and pay stockholders a certain percentage per share that you have. So if you have 100 shares and you're getting 3%, they'll pay you 3% a year for those 100 shares that you have, just as kind of like a bonus for investing in their company. Because when you buy a stock, you're actually giving them money for them to then use for their business. So by dividend, picking stocks with dividends percentage, you get paid. So you still own the stock, whatever you pay for the stock. If you pay $100 per share, $100, you own that stock. Now it can go up and down. It's like a roller coaster ride. And then you get that dividend. So it is possible. There's a lot of people that do live off of dividend income. However, to actually fully supplement your income, it's definitely a lot harder than it sounds, or it might even sound hard. So let's just go some statistics for the U.S. Bureau of Labor. So they did a survey and they found that the average retiree spends $50,000 per year. So that's taking people in the U.S. That seems high to me. So the average U.S. person who's retired spends $50,000 per year. I'm guessing that's probably a family, so a husband and wife. I can't imagine that's per person because that's insane. But that's what they say. So we're gonna go off some stats based off of that. So if you spend less than $50,000 a year, that's definitely good, which I think most people probably should. Spending $50,000 a year when you're retired, you're definitely having a lot of fun. Unless you still owe a lot of debt and stuff. But to reach this amount with dividend payments, so basically the average dividend yield that you're gonna get is 3%. So you're gonna get 3% on your money back, dividends. And that means you would have to have $1,670,000 in dividend stocks at 3% to earn around $50,000 per year in dividends. So that $50,000 per year would be extra income in dividends, but you need $1.6 million. Now you might be thinking to yourself, okay, I'm supposed to have $1.6 million by the time I retire, especially those who are 40, 50, 60, already ready to be retired, and you're thinking, yeah, that's not happening. Well, that's at $50,000 per year. So if you can supplement it, say with your Social Security, so if you figure in Social Security and then let's say $25,000 per year you make on dividends, then you would cut that 1.6 million in half that you would need invested. And even that's still, I know, high for a lot of people, 1.6 million in half. But this is just kind of going over, that it is possible, especially the younger you are, And basically, if you are, let's see, if you could invest in dividends for 40 years, so you pretty much would have to be like 20 years old, 20 to 25 years old. But if you would invest $5,000 per year for 40 years, which is basically maxing out, not even that, but basically putting $5,000 a year in your IRA account for 40 years, you would actually have $1.6 million, and you would be able to make $50,000 a year and live off strictly, not even Social Security, just strictly dividends, if you're 20 to 25 years old right now. Most people are not. Most are in their 40s to 65. Now, if you could get $500,000 in a dividend portfolio, so if you have a $500,000 in dividends, you could make about $15,000 to $25,000 per year. So $500,000 is a lot of money, but with strategic planning, it's definitely doable. But here's the thing, it is pretty rare for people to get that, and here's why. Only 17% of families in the US actually have any dividend stocks. 17%. So only 17% are actually thinking about their future with dividend stocks. That's crazy, right? That's over 80% of families don't even have dividend stocks, which is mind-blowing. I think this study was 2019 or 2020. It might have gone up or down since then, but it's definitely really crazy to think about. Now, I've been investing in dividend stocks. Now, I'm a little different. I'm not all in dividend stocks. I like dividend stocks and also other stocks. The difference between having other stocks and dividend stocks is normally dividend stocks, they kind of trade in a price range, so you're not going to make too much appreciation on the actual stock price. You might, if you know, over time, it might, but pretty much dividend stocks are, you're not looking for that stock to just blow up 1,000%. You're just simply investing in that for a steady dividend income. That's why, you know, some stocks and ETFs will give you like 10% on your money. You got to be very careful with those. A lot of them are REITs and real estate dividend stocks, so you got to be careful. You can have some exposure into those high dividend yield stocks, but I recommend not a ton of exposure. I like the safe companies. If you guys want a list of dividend stocks that are more safe than not, like Pepsi, Visa, Coca-Cola, Keurig, Dr. Pepper, those are just a couple. I think the stock ticker O, which is Oracle, I believe, MO. I mean, there's other ones like Verizon now, Sprint, but Verizon and Sprint, I don't know. You wouldn't want a lot of money in them, in my opinion. I think Ford Motor Company pays some dividends. GM, I think, pays some dividends. Now, the difference of investing in other stocks, like, for example, Tesla or Nvidia or AMD. So investing in those stocks, as of right now, you know, these companies that don't pay dividends also have a potential to make a lot more money per share. So, for example, AMD, I first bought back when it was at $14 a share. It's now over $130 a share, or $100 a share. So from $15 to $100 plus, that's a nice return. You're normally not going to see that from a dividend stock. However, if you invest in a company that's not really stable, that's a new company, you could actually lose all your money. For example, I invested like $700, $800 in Fisker. Fisker was an automaker company, and they filed for bankruptcy. So all my money that I invested in that company, it's gone. I lost it. That $800, it's gone. So that's kind of a gamble that you play when you're investing in other stocks. That's why dividend stocks are normally a stable stock as long as they've been paying. And there's even dividend stocks called the dividend aristocrats. Now, these dividend stocks are companies that have been paying dividends for over 20 years. So they're companies that are pretty darn stable. And a lot of people will invest in the dividend aristocrats. Now, for me, my goal is to get paid dividends. So dividends are normally paid once a quarter, some every 6 months, some once a year. So some companies will pay you every quarter, every 6 months, or once a year. It's different. My goal is to get paid dividends every single day. That's my goal. And you might think to yourself, how? Well, by investing in so many different companies, because different companies pay dividends at different times. Some pay at the same time as others, some don't. So by investing in so many, a massive range of dividend stocks across the board, it's my goal that every day I'm paid some kind of dividends. And actually, I'm pretty happy to say, as of right now, pretty much every 4 days I'm paid dividends. Now, of course, I'm young, don't have a crazy amount of money in dividend stocks, so it can range anywhere from 1 penny to a couple bucks every few days. But that money is then put back into those dividend stocks, compounding interest. Okay, so my camera overheated sitting outside. So I'm not sure exactly where it stopped recording, but basically, you know, my method is to try and get paid dividends every day. So by having having 230 plus stocks, my baskets are spread out, so I'm not going to make as much money, but also my risk is not as high then versus someone who has 5 dividend stocks and all their money in those 5 stocks. You have more baskets, you're going to make more money, but you're going to have more risk. So for everybody, it's going to be different. You know, everyone's going to have a different strategic way of dividend investing. Obviously, the younger you are, the better. But still, it doesn't matter what age. I really highly recommend everybody open a Roth IRA account. For 2024, you can invest $7,000 per person. So you can have a Roth IRA for just you, just your spouse, or for you and your spouse. So you can have a joint IRA account. And the great thing about a Roth IRA is money that you put in that account and the interest that you make, the dividend money that you make, is tax-free when you withdraw it. So that's nice, you know, versus, and a lot of people say, well, why don't you just simply put money in a savings account? Or why don't you just put money, which is, it's, you know, that's also a good thing. Right now, you can make 5% on your money that's in a savings account. So there's different bank accounts. You could do CDs. You can just have a high yield savings account. You could do that. I personally like doing both. So having a 5% high yield savings account as well as dividend stocks. The nice thing about dividend stocks is there's that appreciation. So while you're making 5% of your money on cash in a high yield savings account, the nice thing about dividend stocks is you do have that potential for the stock to continue to go up over the next 10, 20, 30 years. Of course, you also have the potential of that stock going to zero and you losing any money you have in it. That's why I like to be spread. But for me, my main purpose is to try and get paid everyday dividend stocks. That's my goal. That's something I want to do. So whatever strategy you guys want, dividend stock investing is definitely important in my opinion. And again, it doesn't matter what age you are. Obviously in all things of life, you know, the more time you have, the younger you are, the more time you have. I mean, that goes for everything. If you're 70 years old, but you're 800 pounds, obviously it's going to take a lot more time to lose that weight. But if you're 800 pounds and you're 25 years old, you got a long ways, you know, you can lose that weight. You know, the same thing with saving money, investing, all this stuff. The younger you are, the better. However, it's still good to do at any age. It doesn't matter what age you are. Setting money aside, saving money, cutting costs, and all this stuff matters at all ages, just like your health matters at all ages. It's just the younger you are, the better off you are. I only started investing like 3 years ago. I really wish I would have started when I was 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, when I first got my first paycheck. I wish. But we can all sit here and say, well, I wish. The thing is, we're going to keep wishing every year that passes by. So we need to do things. We need to do something about it right now.